Hey, how's it going? This is King Kevin Dorival. I want to make this video to show you guys what I've been up to for the past couple of months here in 2014. This year has been a tremendous blessing and also been very challenging. I don't think I've ever faced so many challenges all at once. But then again, you know, when you have a purpose, there's always opposition. So you must continue to move forward and be as positive as possible. And believe me, if I can remain positive, that means you can remain positive. Because I've never been tried so many times in my life, yet I haven't done so many great events in so close proximity. For starters, I just finished the Black on Black Crime Prevention Conference up in Jacksonville, Florida, which was the 29th annual. I hosted my workshop, How to Remain Focused While in the Fires of Life, which was very powerful. You're talking about a crowd of like 300 people. I wasn't even expecting that many people. They told me it was only going to be about 110, 115, ended up being about 300. So that was a huge blessing. So thank you all who supported me when I was up there. And also, the week before, I hosted the Black on Black Crime Prevention Panel, which we had a panel and of course the preview of my documentary, The Courage to Believe, which you can find out on my website. Go to thecouragetobelieve.com. On the panel we had Dr. Osgood, Aisha Haley, C. Ron Allen, and myself. It was a great crowd. About 40 people came, which was, you know, on Memorial Weekend, May 24th. So the fact that we had so many people to come on a highly celebrated weekend, I was blessed by it. And thank you all for the support. I also want to mention that before that, I was part of the History of Haiti, the Legacy of Toussaint Louverture discussion / debate with Jean-Claude Exilien, who was still is a very prominent and famous historian and professor of Haitian history. So battling against him was an honor. I learned some things, he learned some things, and the audience that was there, that was done at the Miami Art District, downtown Miami, Florida. So that was another blessing. I was also part of the History of Jazz event. And those of you know that the history of jazz, you know, so much rich culture, rich of knowledge and roots in the history of jazz, you know. So I was working with Paulette Douzier on that one. That was an honor. We talked about, you know, Satchmo, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, to name a few, Duke Ellington, some of the, you know, well-to-do, well-known artists and musicians. I was a narrator for it, so that was awesome. I mean, I really enjoyed taking part of that. And what else did I do this year? Well, we've been filming the documentary for the past 7-8 months now. We've been working on it since last year. The pre-production, the planning stages of the documentary. And we have about 8 interviews that's in there. I just submitted to a couple of huge grants to fund the documentary. We've received a lot of support from people like you. I mean, I'm very happy that the community supports this documentary. Teachers, students, people in prison, people who've been out of prison, successful business owners. I mean, that was a huge blessing to me. You know, the people who've been thus far interviewed for this documentary is my homeboy who just literally got out of prison, Stanley Baptiste. We have Dr. Osgood, who's in the Black on Black Crime Prevention panel. My pastor Ed, Willie Gary, who's a prominent attorney out of Stewart. He has 10 Bentleys, 2 private jets. Very wealthy individual and very powerful, great message. And I pray people are very receptive to the energy being portrayed through this documentary to help bring our young men and women to a higher conscious level, to understand that the vibrations and energy and frequencies that we put out there in the world is what comes back to us. And so the documentary pretty much explains how to focus more on what you do have, the things you do have in life that are in your control, so that you can allow the positivity in your life to supersede the negative, which is, you know, the whole point of the film, to never give up and keep moving forward, you know, which is the theme of my book, my first book that I wrote, The Courage to Believe. I should have a copy of here, but I don't, but there's one on my desk. But, you know, go to my website and you'll find it. And also my new book, which is entitled 7 Types of Queens That Kings Desires. I mean, I am reading tons of books. I'm referencing tons more, based on, and also my own knowledge. So this isn't a book that I'm just, you know, taking ideas from other authors, but a lot of these people that I've studied over the years, from Dr. Boris Shango, Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Cress Welsing, you have the Les couples. They've written several, the Leslie couples, they've written several books on marriages and couples. I have books, ancient cultural books on traditions from the families from China or Asian, Japanese culture, you have African culture all throughout the book. I have American culture, Caribbean culture and traditions. It has, you know, a lot of information. I think people are going to be really excited about it when it comes out, because I'm already getting offers to do my book signing in different places, and the book isn't finished. You know, it's actually getting ready to be submitted to an editor to review and proofread and everything. I'm going to be working with the Queen Code. Those of you who don't know who she is, follow her on Twitter at the Queen Code. She's been on a couple of my shows, which is the King Kevin Show. You know, and as a matter of fact, the idea for this book, The 7 Types of Queens That Kings Desire, came from part 3 of The 7 Types of Queens That Kings Desire on the King Kevin Show. And the Queen Code, she was in part 1 and part 2 and part 3. And by the time part 3 came around, I told her, like, look, you know, you really inspired me to go ahead and create this book, because I was already working on a dating book, which is going to be for women and men. But then I began to thinking, like, wow, I'll write a dating Christian book on Christian dating, secular dating, sounds okay. But when I introduce a book that is open to the world, people who are not Christians will read this book. And people that are Christians will definitely read the book. But it's definitely mature content. So it's not a book that little kids, little girls should be reading. As a matter of fact, I think the age limit should be females from 15 and up, because it's very important that teenage ladies, teenage princesses who are soon to be queens, should read a book like this, because they are told so many lies and misconceptions of how women should portray themselves in public, you know, or in private. You know, how to take care of themselves, how to love themselves, how to love a man, how to love your man, your king, who to crown as your man, the crown as your king, the crown as your leader. You know, whether you believe in traditional roles or not, you know, the man is the head of the household. If that's your Christian background, you believe that. If you don't believe that, then you do understand that, you know, a man is there to protect and provide for the home. We can all agree on that, right? Right? Exactly. So I wrote the book, and it's going to be coming out on my birthday, February 7th, 2015. So my birthday will actually be somewhere celebrating with, you know, people like you and some friends and family, and I hope everyone blesses me. I'm going to sell a couple million of this book. This book here, one of my dreams is to sell 40 million books. This book, 7 Types of Queens, is going to be a book like no other. I've never seen any book like it. And each time I talk about it on my show, The King Kevin Show, which airs every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I get a lot of good buzz from it, a lot of great feedback. You know, I bet a lot of women are thinking, wow, I should have wrote that book. But I'm glad God blessed me with the opportunity to write such a book and to read some of these other books that I'm working on right now. And I wanted to make sure that I pulled out some books. This is my first book, The Courage to Believe. As a matter of fact, I referenced some of the contents of this book into the 7 Types of Queens book. So I'll be very glad and happy to allow the world to read, what does Kevin feel about relationships? You know, how do I, what's my standpoints on them? You know, and I think you all will be blessed. It's going to encourage women to become the queens that they are. Not what reality TV tells them that they should be. Not what social media tells them they should be. Not what these women are posting on Instagram as what a woman should be. Now there are some good quality pictures portraying women, specifically black women, in a positive light, but there's so much more in the negative, and that's what I have a problem with. So God bless you all. Go to my website. I have two websites, thecouragetobelieve.com and also kevindorival.com, which you'll see the link below. So be sure to follow it. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. All my links are down there. And remember, the only person that's stopping you from reaching your destiny is you. There's no one else. No one control that but yourself. Be blessed, be inspired, and remember, take it easy.